Imagine, if you will, a vast wealth of gold reserves sitting safely in the vaults of a nation, a treasure representing years of prosperity and economic stability. Now, imagine that this gold, the very lifeblood of that nation's financial security, seemingly vanishes, casting a shadow of mystery over its disappearance. Today, we explore the fascinating story of how the Bank of England, a stalwart institution of financial governance, came to be embroiled in the theft of an entire nation's gold reserves. This documentary takes us back in time to an event that stands as a significant moment in financial history. We delve into the role played by one of the world's oldest and most influential banks, the Bank of England, in this audacious act. Established in 1694, the Bank of England holds a pivotal place in the economic life of the United Kingdom. Its primary responsibilities include managing the nation's monetary policy, issuing currency, and securely holding the gold reserves of various countries. It is a symbol of trust and stability. So how could it find itself at the center of such a scandalous affair? To understand this mystery, we must first look at the backdrop against which these events unfolded. Bank of England, since its founding, has served as the cornerstone of the UK's economic framework. Its vaults have safeguarded not only British gold, but also the gold reserves of allied nations, especially during turbulent times of war and economic uncertainty. This trust placed in the Bank of England was built over centuries, rooted in its capability to protect and manage wealth. The narrative begins with a series of fateful decisions taken amidst a volatile political landscape. As tensions mounted across Europe, with war clouds looming ominously, many nations feared for the security of their national treasures. During these precarious times, several governments turned to the Bank of England, believing that their gold reserves would be safe in the institution's impregnable vaults. The transfer of these reserves was a strategic move intended to preserve national wealth from the ravages of war. However, this decision, which appeared prudent at the time, laid the groundwork for what would become a monumental financial scandal. Critics argue that it was not just the threat of external conflict that endangered these gold reserves, but also a series of misjudgments and clandestine operations within the echelons of power. Key figures, both within the bank and the government, became embroiled in a complex web of decisions that led to the gold's removal. Political motivations, economic pressures, and perhaps even personal ambitions all played roles in a decision-making process that ultimately spiraled out of control. These were not smooth waters to navigate. The period following the gold's disappearance was fraught with conflict and challenges. Public dissent grew as the populace, already weary from economic instability, began to question the motives and actions of those in charge. Political backlash ensued, with calls for accountability and transparency echoing through the halls of power. Amidst this uproar, the bank faced immense pressure to maintain financial stability, a task made more difficult by the mounting crisis of confidence. In the face of such adversity, how did the institution respond? Efforts were made to resolve the situation, though not without difficulty. An intricate dance ensued to restore trust, a concerted push to establish measures that would prevent a recurrence of such events. These included reforms aimed at increasing transparency and securing the integrity of national wealth management. Ongoing efforts sought to rebuild the trust that had been so severely undermined. As our tale draws to a close, we reflect on the impact of this incident. The Bank of England, despite its attempts to rectify the situation, could not escape unscathed. Theft of an entire nation's gold reserves left an indelible mark on the public's perception of the institution. This historical event holds profound implications for how national wealth is managed and protected, serving as a cautionary tale about the necessity of vigilance and accountability in financial governance. Before we part, we encourage you to delve deeper into the history of the Bank of England and its practices. Understanding the complexities of financial history is not just about looking back, it's about gaining insights that affected, serving as a cautionary tale about the necessity of vigilance and accountability in financial governance. Before we part, we encourage you to delve deeper into the history of the Bank of England and its practices. Understanding the complexities of financial history is not just about looking back,